He says Rochester is experiencing a legacy of failed progressive Democratic philosophies. So how would Republican mayoral candidate Tony Michiquet change that legacy if elected to Rochester's top spot? His campaign is focused on Rochester City Schools, what he calls wasteful and redundant business regulations, and a public safety plan intended to reduce crime and improve police-community relations. Candidate in the race for Rochester mayor and Monroe County legislator Tony Michiquet joins us now to make his case. And welcome to the show. It's great to have you here.
My pleasure.
So, Tony, I'll start with the same question that I've asked all the mayoral candidates who have joined me on the show. Why? Why do you want this job, mayor of Rochester?
Well, you know, this is my city, and I view everybody's kids as my kids. And when I see kids standing on a corner, they're throwing their life away. They're involved in criminality because I sit on, I'm the chair for public safety for the county ledge. I'm involved with many police officers. I hear the stories. I read the paper. When you hear of 4 young men being shot and killed on Genesee Street, and you find 4 people in a burned out house and 2 women that get shot. I mean, it's out of hand. And remember, no one wants to live in this city or invest their capital at the same time send their kids to the schools if they're not safe. And they're really not safe. When our current mayor, who I like Lovely very well, she's a nice lady, but when our current mayor says that we're at a 30-year low in crime, I can't find one person that believes that throughout the whole city. We have to tell the truth on this. We need to be tough and come down on criminality. And one of the ways of doing that would be to put the police precincts back in the neighborhoods.
And we'll talk about the issues in just a moment. I want to point to something that you said in the Democrat Chronicle, or an article rather that I read, and you said the odds are that you probably won't win this race. So what is it that makes you believe, while you think the odds may be against you, that you've got a fighting chance?
Well, that actually was kind of taken out of context. Okay. I believe I can win. The odds are always against me when I run. Because,
why do you say that?
Well, because the enrollment. My particular district is like 23% Republican, and the city itself is about 11 or 12%. So if that's what you mean by the odds, absolutely. However, I've overcome the odds in 2011, and I won. I overcome the odds again in 2015. Democrats voted for me because I bring common sense from a common man. I came from a very poor family. I went through 3 foster homes. I slept in cars when I was 13. I went on my own at 14 and paying rent and working a full-time job, 40 hours a week at the LDR Char Pit. And I put myself through high school. I didn't put my hand out for anybody. I just went out and did it. So that's the kind of guy I am. I'm a can-do guy.
For viewers who don't know, Tony is a Republican Monroe County legislator representing the 26th district, so that includes parts of the city of Rochester, Gates, and Greece. And when you first announced your run, you said what Rochester is experiencing is a legacy of failed progressive Democratic philosophies. You said this is a battle of philosophies. Yes. What did you mean by that?
Well, if you look around, you see the worst school district in the whole state, number 432 out of 432. It's the second worst in the country behind Detroit. You see crime is up. I love when they say a 30-year low in crime, but murder is up, rapes are up, and robberies are up. That must be the new math they're using because I don't see how that works. I see businesses leaving. I got downsized from General Motors after working there for 25 years. General Motors is a shadow of itself. Kodak went bankrupt. All the new car dealers that used to be on Lake Avenue, they're gone. They want to cut a ribbon if somebody hires 10 people. We used to have thousands of people working here, like at Kodak, for example. Xerox used to be here. Now their headquarters is in Connecticut. Something's wrong.
And when you talk about the stats for crime, where are you getting those stats? Because Mayor Lovely Warren has held press conferences discussing the low in crime. So where are your stats coming from?
You see it from the newspapers. You see it from the press. I've seen FBI statistics. Some of it from research, some from the police officers who are actually in the streets, that are in the trenches. There's no way of denying when murder is up 19% and you're telling everybody you're at a 30-year low. Of the top 50 cities, murder is up 17%. why would we be any different from the norm? So
I want to move on to some of the issues and plans that you have, rather, to combat what you believe has failed in the city of Rochester. Education is a big one. You are the first candidate that I've heard make suggestions to adjusting the maintenance of effort law. Now, this is a required law. The city must give $119 million every year, no questions asked, to the Rochester City School District. Under what conditions, if you were elected as mayor, would that money be in jeopardy?
Well, maintenance of effort, $119 million, goes to the school district, and the mayor has no say in how it's spent, where it goes, anything like that. I can't see it. If you have a graduation rate of 45%, and of the 45%, only 3 or 4% can actually do college work, I call that failure. I'm not going to pay for failure. I'm not going to pay for services not rendered. You need to get the graduation rate up at least to 65%, and that means you're still losing 1/3 of our kids. That's not acceptable. African American males, I'm told anywhere from 9 to 20% actually make it through graduation. I can't have that. How do I attract business here to bring jobs if we have a workforce that can't do the work, that don't have the skill sets?
So what are you telling the district that they must do to bring change in order for that money not to be in jeopardy?
Let me give you an example. I worked at GM. We had 14 levels of hierarchy. Toyota had 3. Who was more successful? They are way too top-heavy in administration. They need to focus on getting competent teachers out there and working on getting their parents involved in their kids' education. Another thing that I would like to say, many Democrats always talk about transparency. How about this for transparency? Instead of hiding the school taxes in the city taxes, how about they collect their own taxes so that people can see the real failure and the real cost of our school district?
I want to go on to, before you run out of time, you talk about your plan in terms of jobs and jobs connected to poverty and the work to eliminate poverty through job creation.
I know poverty better than anybody out there. And I've been there. Like I said, I slept in cars. I know. I would go back to something that Jack Kemp had, the enterprise zones, and taking existing buildings.
That's former HUD, former Secretary of HUD.
Correct. Former existing buildings, bring them up to code, start your business. After a year, if you're hiring people, you're taking my people and putting them to work, I'll refund your permit process cost. I'll keep taxes from you for 2 years and then gradually bring you online by the 5th year. That way they have the capital to grow their business and hire more people. That's just one example.
And then just before we close, if elected, first order of business on day one.
I would sell those SUVs that the city has, that the mayor has. I'll drive my own car, thank you.
All right, well, as viewers know, we've been inviting all the candidates in the 2017 mayoral race to join me at the table, so I appreciate you being here today.
My pleasure.
A special thank you to Republican mayoral candidate Tony Michiquet. And the primary election in the race for mayor will take place on Tuesday, September 12th, and the general election will be held on Tuesday, November 7th.